All right, we're back. Make It Rain Ranch. The closet build, if you saw my other video I had put up earlier, it actually went through a lot of the different closet systems that we're got a building here at the homestead. We've been building this house for literally, the concept started out about 12, 13 years ago, but we finally got around to building January last year, and we're still in construction. We're hoping to get finished here in the next month. So it has been a long build. It has given us construction paralysis at this point, but we're getting close to getting done. But the big thing is I'm kind of the holdup right now because I got to get these closet systems done. If you want to see the other video, I do have a bunch of a video where I went through several different closet systems. I kind of used this build to experiment with different ones. So I did the Vevers, I did another a unit, I think it was Craftsmade that came from Home Depot. I've used a couple different IKEA systems. In that other video, I kind of went through those. I might do one that really goes through the pros and cons of each one. I think that'd probably be a good video for people that are looking at the different closet systems. But overall, this might be a little bit more of a time-consuming build to put this one together. But this Allen Roth system, this is the Hartsford collection, is by far my favorite. I think it looks the best. It does take a little longer to install. There are some things you can't do with this system. I've done a couple of them. I'll show you if I don't want to go through the other video where I put it together, actually the white version, in one of the closets already, where I experimented with both the ventilated system as well as the solid system over there. There are the big drawback is you have to be in studs on two of them. So when you hang them, you cover up two studs. There's gonna have to be a gap before you get the next one, unless you want to get real creative with some different type of hangers or wall systems to be able to hang them all next to each other. So most people aren't gonna do that. So you end up hanging them spaced out. If you need cabinets that are tightened up, this may not be the system you want to look at, but for what we're doing, to put those in there and have some rods to be able to hang clothes on, this is a perfect system. This is what I'll be building today. So as you can see, this is I'm going to build two of them. This is just one. The other one, I've already laid out all the parts, so it actually has, you can see over on this side, you have, and this is because I'm an engineer, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down, all the way around. And then we have the parts over there. This is mainly for the drawer that you're gonna see. So those little parts down there are for this drawer that you can see in the picture that'll be installed. So it's one of the later ones. The one thing you'll realize is if you look at the picture on here, the one thing that kind of almost turned me off was it has this curved shape, and we are more of like, you can see most of our window trims very straight. The unit actually comes with a piece that's either curved or straight. It's over here. So if you look at this system here, there's the curved piece. And if you don't want the curved piece, it does come with a straight piece. So I just ditch out the curved piece. We're not going to use it. So today I'm going to set you guys over here. At least for now, I'm going to start to get busy on assembling this thing. Most likely I'll have to learn to figure out on this editing how you kind of like speed up through a lot of these things, but it's I haven't figured that piece out yet, so that's why my videos are kind of long, but we'll go ahead and put those and get them done together. One thing is making sure, what I found for tools to use for this build, and I don't want to yell, but I do have one of these portable mics that I'm trying, so hopefully that helps out a little bit. But essentially, all you need for this build is I got my handy dandy Ryobi drill, and I had picked up this a while back, and it's been working for a long time, but it's just one of those Craftsman potpourri variety pack, different drill bits, screwdriver heads, things like that, that's in there, and it's been working for me literally through the whole build of this construction. So that's all I really need here. I do use a couple pieces for a couple different pieces here for the different build scenarios. So for this build, they do give you in the packet a Allen wrench, which is, you'll need that just for a couple things. But we'll just go ahead and get this out. I already know I use my handy dandy extension piece, and then literally I just pull out a, Phillips head screwdriver. I'll put that in my drill, and that's pretty much what I'll use for the majority of it. There will be one time when I'll end up having to do, and I don't have an Allen key head for the drill, so I actually use a star bit that's a little bit big that will fit in there, and it'll drill down a couple things and make life go a lot faster. So the first step in this build is essentially what you'll see. I've already made sure I got the part. The first thing you do is there's these two brackets. These are the drawer brackets. You pull off. I remember the first time I went to build this, I really had no clue what the heck they were talking about, but you have these drawer guides, and essentially they allow your drawer to go out and go in. So what they're looking to do is, if you look at those directions, and if you can see in here, there is this little doohickey thing right here. I don't know if you see right there. And all you're doing is you're gonna lift that, push it up, and see what it does is it releases right there and allows it to slide off the track. You just need to do that for both pieces, because you're gonna be installing them in two. You have to do that for both these things, because each one of those pieces gets installed in different steps. So you'll do the other one, you look for the little doohickey, I don't know what you call that, you're gonna squeeze it together and it pulls apart. So there we go, those two are done. Look at that, we're already done with step one. I mean, how much more amazing can this get, So I'm gonna back you up a little bit so you can see. And now I'm just putting my instructions over here. So then we go to step two, and this is where, excuse me, I'm a little bit on the old side. Let me put on my glasses. So step two, we're really gonna be looking to lay out, you wanna lay out J, H, and I. And this is pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple. So we have each part that you'll get from this system will be labeled with the letter somewhere on there. This one's J. So we'll put that there. I is this piece here. It's a big long piece, but you'll notice it actually has up. So you always can know when you're building this which direction is supposed to be the upside. The other thing to realize is it's got this ridge down the back side of it. That will be the rear of the unit. So this is a side piece where this will be up, this will be the rear, which means everything will come off to this direction. So just if you can think spatially about it, you'll always know which direction everything is. Last piece we needed with H, which is the other side, we'll lay it down. And then what it wants you to do is go in here, and we're supposed to put 12 of these cam locks in there. So I'll take 12 of those cam locks. So let me open that real quick. Take me a second. I kind of use a knife because I like to leave everything in the packet. So I just use a little knife to cut it open on two sides. That way everything stays in there and I can grab out my 12 that I need, which I believe there's 24. So I just got to take half of them. Now everything stays nice and neat. I can figure my way around. Now when you're looking at this system and you're like, where do you put those cam locks? If you look, especially if you get the dark system, you can see that it looks like a little rubber or plastic white looking piece in there. Well, that's already pre-threaded. Those were all these, so all these cam locks, I'll take one right now. So you take that cam lock and you'll start rotating it in there. And then essentially, I'll bring my drill and I'll screw it down. Number one important thing, do not screw it down really hard because you end up pushing it in or breaking that piece out. You just want to get this to set on top of there. That's why I always tell people that if you're building it for the first time, use a screwdriver, because the screwdriver will help you get it nice and flush. You don't want to over torque it, so it's going to be close. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll come right back. All right, back from the magic of video editing. We're back. As you can see, I laid out all my cam bolts here. They're in each one of those. Like I said, what you're gonna do is just take this drill, and like if it's your first time doing it, I definitely recommend going with a screwdriver, but I've built a couple of these already, so I know you just snug them down. The reason why you have to not tighten them too much is because this head actually sticks into a hole like that into the next board, and you'll end up putting a cam lock in there, and that cam lock turns. In fact, let me show you how that works. Give me 1 second here. So let's get a cam lock out. There we go. So essentially, we'll get a board that, a small board, the board that I'm not using. So just to show you how this works really quick. So essentially the way this cam locks work is this will be drilled in, snugged into a piece of wood that eventually, when you put it together, will push into there. And once it's inside there, well, I had the wrong one, of course. It'll push into this side. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the head of that sticking down in there. Well, the reason why that head sticks down in there is because you're going to put a cam lock like this. And you can see it's got grooves on the side. So that groove, of course I dropped it all the way in there. So that groove, when you set it in there, this opening on this cam lock has to go fit in there, and so it goes around that screw, and then you're gonna twist the cam lock and it's gonna grab that screw and hold it down, and it locks it in place. The problem if you over tighten this into the wood above it, the piece you're trying to drill into, is it'll be too far up, and then when you try to stick it in there into the hole, it won't go through there, and there won't be enough for it to grab. So it's very important you do not over tighten these. You just get them flush with the actual rubber that rubber or plasticky piece, so that you'll be able to tighten all your cam locks down later. So hopefully that explains it. If not, you just wasted a bunch of time listening to me. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and screw these in. Hopefully I figure out how to time lapse it. And you can see how slow I'm going on these. I want to make sure I don't over tighten after I just told you guys not to do the same exact thing. So. Just got this board to do, and we're finished. All right, now that that step's done, we can go in there and, actually that was the first part of the step. There's actually another part of the step. This is where those drawer pulls come in. So what you're looking at, I'm gonna take you with me here, is We now want to install these drawer guides. Now each one of these guides has to go into each one, and you're always like, and like me, I was like, well, which one goes where? Doesn't matter which one, it's just as long as you get the orientation right. So like I said, when you're looking at this side wall, this cabinet wall, hold on a second, as you can see, this is the back edge. This little groove back here sits on the back of it. So when you install the drawer guide, you want to make sure the movable part is able to move forward, because the drawer will pull out this way. You're not going to pull it out through the back of the cabinet. You want to pull out through the front of the cabinet. So you can see this white plastic is always the back side. So you're looking for this. You can look from the top. The top of it, again, it's labeled top. You want to start at the top. You go to the first hole that's recessed backwards on the back side. And then you'll see the hole that's recessed back there. And you'll end up taking the back of this, you line it up with that hole, and then the front side will line up with that little hole there. And that's where you're gonna drill it in. You'll take these little tiny nuts, they tell you, I think it's JJ, we're gonna drill them right in there. Similarly, you'll move to the other one. As you can see, now my groove is on the right side. It's just because that's the way I laid it on the floor. You may lay it down a different way. Up is here. I come down, line again. This is the back side, so the white part of the guide is going to be on the back side. I'm going to line up with that hole, lines with the front. Now all I got to do is drill it in. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's set you guys over here this time, and you'll see how I drill those guys in there. So again, nothing magical about this one. It's just a matter of getting in. This is where I wish I had the beauty of magnetism. So that's in. We'll get this back one in. And again, you don't have to crank them down like you need massive amounts of torque. It's not like certain car parts that you need. This one, I always worry about stripping the holes, because if you strip the holes, you're really up a creek without a paddle, because then you have to figure out how you're going to get it attached, and you might be gluing it or do something crazy like that. So that's where we're at. So let's move on. The next step. Let's see where we're at here. So now is when we're going to go in to this following step 3. This is where we're going to take the base panel K, which is the back of it, and we're going to use some large dowels and large cam locks. So 2 large cam locks, 2 large dowels. So cam locks, those are the things I told you. Another tip is to be very careful when you're installing those cam locks, because they, what I've learned, don't ask me how I know, is that when you put a couple of these together, I think the steel or the metal is kind of on the softer side. And if you try to over tighten these things, you literally can snap the heads off those cam locks. You have to pull them out. Luckily, they do give you one extra one. And thank God they did, because I needed it one time. But I learned real quickly, do not over tighten these things. So the other thing is, it's important you put these dowels in. And it's pretty simple to know where they go. For instance, if you're looking at, say, this piece here, and this is pretty much for this whole build, what you'll see is, one of these cam locks will come down through these top holes. There's 2 holes next to each other, if you can see. So that cam lock will come down into that hole, that cam will come down in that hole, and then you'll put the lock in. The one that doesn't have a hole is always where the wood dowel goes in. And that's pretty much universal for this whole build. So when it's talking about putting wood dowels in, and you're trying to line things up, it's real easy to see where it goes. So let's go to K. So we want to install K. Again, if you look on the back, it's labeled that K is right there. So you want to attach this to J, which is the top piece over here. And this is where, again, we were using those dowels. So let's move the camera. So you can see here, this is J. And so if you want to figure out how the heck you assemble these two pieces, again, this is the top piece. So each one, this does have this K does not have a label on it. You know, because it doesn't have a label on it, I don't know why my camera keeps trying to go off on me. But the one thing you realize about any of the back pieces is these have to hang on the wall. So there's a little like slant or an indentation up in here behind it. That's got to hang on the wall. Because that hangs on the wall, you know this is the top side of it. So because that's the top side, and I got to hook it to, and I got to hook J to the top, I know these got to connect that way somehow. Then J has this ridge on the back, that little groove. That coincides with the groove that sits on this piece here. So this little groove, this little piece sits in that groove, and then you're gonna line up, all you're doing at that point is lining up the holes that sit on the back there together. So we'll come sit down here, and because what I just told you about the wood dowels is I put them in the spots where there are the no holes, where the cams, so the cams can fit right in there, and boom, those two lock together. Now, you're taking these pieces. I like to have a screwdriver for these cam locks, because again, I broke one, and because I snapped the head off one, I want to make sure I only have hand pressure in there. So I always like make sure you take the cam lock, I stick it on the end of the screwdriver, I find the hole I need to go in there, I put it in and twist it, but I don't over tighten them. Just make sure they get in there and they get the grip they need, and it pulls it together. Because if you over tighten them, snap them, I'm up a creek again. I don't know why I said that twice in this video. So there we go. That's as easy as that step goes. So let's move on to the next step. Again, that finishes off that page. Man, I love it. I love how these go to, the instructions are clean, they're real easy, right up to a point. There is a point here that instructions go wacky on you. But now what we want to do is we want to attach this to piece I over here. So I is this piece right here that we just installed, I should say down here, is this piece right here that we installed one of the horizontal tracks to. Again, when you look at it, you know which way is up. I know which way is up on here because the J piece, this piece that we just installed on the top, is the top piece. So if you put it like that, you know it won't work because the groove's on this side. So it makes it, I know I have to flip it around. And that's the way it's going to get installed. So I'll install it like this, will go on top of there. So then all you do, and the good thing about these pieces, these instructions, it tells you pretty quickly what you need over here. So I know I need the 2 cam locks, 3 large wood dowels. I go to my handy dandy packet here. I grab my 3, all the stuff I need. Of course, I already forgot. I don't know if it said 3 cams or 3 wood dowels, so I got what I think I need. It said I need 2 cam locks, so I got 1 too many. So again, if you're sitting there looking at this thing, make sure you can see. So I know I need to put, here are the cam lock, or the cams, So I know I got to put these wood dowels in. I know the holes next to them are where those wood dowels go. And because there's none other down here, I don't need any more wood dowels. So now it's just a matter of taking this piece and lining it up over all those wood dowels and cams and making sure that piece fits right in the groove. And once that's in the groove, it should hold itself down. Perfect. Now I just got to install the cams. Locks, which for this one, because this is the inside, I have to do them on the inside. So I'll stick that one in there. These are a little tougher. If I had a smaller screwdriver, probably would fit in there a little bit better. So I'll put those two in. That one's locked in. That's locked in. I don't know why it didn't make me do the third one. There is a third one you could do. I do it in this step. I don't wait till the other step and do it. There's one right here in the back. I just like to make sure it's locked down. So once that's done, you know, we finish that step. Then what they're gonna have you do is the cam lock I just put in there goes into the next step, which we're on now. So I don't know why they just didn't tell you to do it in this step. Now what we want to do is these 3 holes here is we're going to put some screws in. And it's real simple. Let me bring the packet over. So if you look into your packet, you got these screws, these lock washers, and then the flathead. So when you put the screw on the ground, you put a lock washer on, then you put a flathead on. And then we're going to stick them in those holes and drill them in. So give me a minute to get these all ready, and I'll put those in for you. All right, so I'm back. So to kind of show you how this looks, you take the screw, you have the lock washer goes on first. It would be closest to the head of the screw. And then you're gonna put the flat washer on. So when this screws down, that lock washer is gonna lock it down. And it's gonna go, if you look in this system right here, there are 3 holes on the back. Each one's gonna get one. So you pop it in there, pop that one in there, you pop this one in there. Now they do give you an Allen wrench. If you look into the kit, the beautiful kit they give you an Allen wrench. You can use that. Takes time. What I did, because I don't have an Allen wrench, I found this bit here. I was in that handy dandy Craftsman things. It's actually a star torque bit. I put it in there, works just as good. And I'm able to drill these things right in, saves me a good amount of time. Getting them in and out can be a problem sometimes. So, and because these are just shelving systems, I'm not overly worried about, like I said, torquing them down too much. But that right there saved me a ton of time. Because I remember I did the first few with the Allen wrench, and it definitely took me some time. Now I leave my bit sticking straight up in my kit because I know I'm gonna need it again. It allows me to know where it's gonna be at for the next step. So that's where we're sitting right now. We finished that step. So we move to step 6. Step 6 is we're gonna take piece L. Step 6 is gonna take this piece L. We're gonna attach it in. We're gonna need 2 large dowels, 2 cam locks. It's gonna go in piece IJK here, which is this little system we just put together. So this is, sorry, behind the cabinet, this is my piece. As you can see, it's L, as it's shown on the side. It's gonna go in like right there into the cabinet system. So I need to now get 2 large cam locks and 2 wood dowels, which I got here. 2 dowels, 2 cam locks. I got my trusty screwdriver. Again, since you know I have to put 2 dowels in, like I said before, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see right here, we have a cam and a cam, and you got 2 empty holes next to it. That's where the wood dowels go. Oh man, really? Went underneath there? You rat. Get back here. All right, so now we got that out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and slide our piece on. Again, you have to make sure that groove goes in with this groove, that backer board. So we're gonna slide that in the backer board, make sure that groove lines up, make sure all the holes line up, sets right in there like a glove, like I was meant to do it. That's what I love about this system. Everything just fits together right. You put the cam lock in, and now we're locked down. So that step's done. Now it's looking like a system, you know? Then step 7, and this is really finishing the top half. So what we're working on, I don't know if you can see it over here, but we're working on the top half of this cabinet right now. So the last piece thing we gotta do is take piece H, which is the one sitting on the floor over there, stick it on the top of here. That's gonna require 5 large wood dowels, 4 cam locks. So we'll take the 5 wood dowels first. And it's real simple. It's like, where do you put them? You can see, there's where I know my cam lock's gonna be, wood dowel being the one next to it. There's where the cam lock's gonna be, wood dowel's going next to it. I just walk around and do that. I know there's, same thing, wood dowel. 2 cam locks there, the wood dowels will be next to it. Simple. Now, we'll take piece H, and we know this way is up. This is the upside. I can see it on the sticker on the other one. And I know this drawer has to go out forward. So this is how it lays in there. So we want to just line up your cams with those fancy holes. And if I can get it to work, like a glove. Oh my God, that went together really nicely. So then we just take, they said we were gonna need 4 of these cam locks, and you're just gonna run around and hook them in there. So we had the 2 here, and it's pretty much, you know where the cam locks are because they go almost everywhere where you put a wood dowel. So I know put wood dowels there. I know I have a wood dowel here. Now, because this is the top, you're not gonna have any wood dowels in there. You're gonna have them on this side. It's interesting to finish on that. So now I have to go inside here. Oh, I always hate this. This is the part I don't like. Tighten that down. In fact, it said they only need 4 of those. I really need 5. So, for those not, there might be one little faux pas in the directions, because I had to use 5 of those. So that might be a typo in that directions. So when you look at that, that's essentially just built the top piece. So this piece, and what actually this is the bottom, I forgot. Earlier I told you we were building this top part. We actually built the bottom part because we have the drawer. Now what I do, because these things do get kind of heavy, these cabinets can get very heavy, especially when you put the top piece on it, is I go ahead and locate this now in the closet where I'm going to do the final install, and I'll build the top piece out here and move it later. So that's what I'll do now. Now that I got that done, I can go ahead and start building the next piece. This one, we're gonna need pieces A, B, and C. And it's really the similar way we just did the other ones. So this is why it's easy. If you lay them out right, you can always come in and do it and get this thing done. So this is why I like laying my parts out in alphabetical order. Makes it easy. So A, B, and C are in. We're gonna need 14 of those cams, bolts, to do all of them. Again, we're gonna repeat this. So I'll figure out a way to fast forward it. So again, find these like rubbery pieces in the boards, and you're just gonna lay them in there. The difference is because the top piece here, and we're building the top will have a vast majority of these cam bolts, because it's gonna be the piece that really locks everything together. So we'll install. Now, as you can see, this top piece, you see the top piece here, there are two here, two here, two here, and two here. So there are a lot in this one. So make sure you get all of them installed right. All right, welcome back. We're getting ready for the next step here. I've already gone ahead and tightened up all those cams. But this is the step I was talking about. Like, you build that first piece, everything's like step by step by step. But then you get to this one, they get you to lay it out, and you put these cams in, and then it pretty much tells you, put everything together. Like, why did they cheese out? They did so good on the instructions before, and then they cheesed out on this one and said, just throw everything together. And you're like, man, and how do I get it all together? You know, what do I do first? What do I do second? So I just kind of like take it and follow the same type of order roughly that I did before. You're gonna end up taking this back. So I'll walk you through how I do it. So unfortunately for me, I'll show you anyhow, but this is the back piece. As you can see, I think the builder, when he was working, damaged the back of my thing. So it had all these parts laid out for a few days, and somebody destroyed it. But I'm gonna go ahead and assemble it with it so you guys can see how it gets done. I'm a little disappointed in that. But again, this is part D. This is the back of the piece that we're trying to put together. So that's the back, part D. We want to put it together. Again, remember, this has to hang on the wall, so this back board, there's a little slant in there, a groove. That's gonna hang on some pieces. I'll show you. Hold on. Because in a future step, what you're gonna end up doing is you'll see these boards, and they have a little slant to it. These are gonna attach to the wall. They're gonna attach to the wall, so that groove actually sits underneath there, and it holds it up. So you can see I'm holding this whole thing with just my left arm. It's off the ground and it's floating. It's because it's got that groove locked in underneath there. So that we know is up. So now that we got this part D, we know this is the top side. Same thing. You got these edges. It has a little bit sticks out there. That's got to go in all the grooves. They're in these little pieces here. So again, you find the upper piece. You can almost start with any of them. So big important thing is making sure you have your wood dowels and your cam locks. So I'm going to start with just part A. I know that I got a cam there, got a cam here. Those are the only two that are over here. So I want to this is up. So I know I got to flip it over so that this piece is still going up, because A, up is that way. The groove's in the back, groove down there. Now I just set it all together. So I'll put that in there. That one will fit into there. There we go. I'll put my 2 cam locks in the back that'll tighten it all down. So we'll put those 2 in. That tightens that down. This will tighten this side down. Now, because this backing here has those 3 holes in it, we're going to do that one step, if you remember, where I took these 3 screws and I put the lock washer and then the full washer on. And then I'll put them in here. Because it's kind of set up really weird. I think it's in a very precarious condition because I got these long pieces attached with nothing really locking them down. I want to get these screws in. Now remember, I grabbed, if you want to, you could use the Allen wrench. I use this little torque bit. Does the job for me just as good. And I do it to just where it snugs it up. Now, one thing I just realized, when I built the other one, the other half, I forgot to put those in the other side. So I will need to, now that I've got the torque bit, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I will be right back. I wanna make sure I get the other one done. All right, I'm back. I went and got that one fixed up a little bit. So now what I did is I stood this up on end, because now you got those 2 locked together. And now I'll put the other side piece on. Now here I put 2 wood dowels in, because I got the groove on this side. It's got to go in here. This is the upside, that's the upside. And I know I have 2 cams here, so I put the dowels in the spots they're gonna be in. And now what you do is you attach the side. You gotta make sure that that dowel that wood dowel fits right in there. Of course, I'm having a little issue with mine. Come on now. What's going on here? That one's in. That one's now in. Let me grab my 2 cam locks. Yeah, right after I said, this is the greatest closet system. I never have any problems. All of a sudden I have a few problems with this one. But hey, you know what? I still like this closet system. I ain't lying. This is a darn good system, man. So there. So those are locked in. Now the tough part is, this is like what I told you guys before. You could either use a curved piece on the top front, or you could go with a straight piece. We're going with more of the straight theme. So one thing to take into consideration when you're doing this is make sure you know what your theme is going to be. But also, there is a rough edge side. You want that rough edge side to be facing up. The reason why you want it facing up is because that top piece that's on the floor is going to set on top of here and you're not going to see it. So again, we'll need 2 wood dowels to go into here. So we'll take our wood dowels. We'll put it in F here. And I'll put a wood dowel in here, a wood dowel in here. And now here's this part that always scares me, is I have to put it together. I almost have to stretch this out a little bit. And I'm always worried I'm gonna break something, but so far I've never broken anything, so we're good to go there. Grab 2 more cams, locks. We'll lock that bad boy in place. So that goes into there. That's locked down. Then this is locked down. So that's essentially how you get to the step where it just tells you put everything together, you know, which I kind of think is like a kind of a real cheesy way to do it. But now we got to put that together. Let's not forget to do what I forgot to do in the last one, which is the bolt and the lock washers. So you can see when I flip this thing around, you got to get those in the back. That's what I forgot to do on the last one on the second side. So this time I'm not going to forget. I'm going to put them in there. One, and that will finish off this step. Again, this is so much easier than using the Allen wrench they gave you, but you can use that wrench if you choose to. It's gonna take you a little bit and it's gonna suck. That's just my honest opinion. So there you go. So now what you're gonna end up doing is we're gonna get the next real big step is put that top piece on. You'll need 8 dowels. And you're just gonna stick them in here. Again, you look for the areas that you don't have the cams going in. So that makes it easy to figure out where all these dowels go. And once I get them all in, it's going to speed up your life rather than trying to look at the drawing to figure out where they're at all the time. Then we're going to set this right on the top, put them in, make sure all that lines up with the cam holes. Boom! Like a glove again. And then we'll end up with 8 of these cam locks. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. I always start out with the back because they're the easy ones. The hard ones are ones where I have to get on the floor and actually climb into the unit. So there's 1, there's 2, so that's done. All the rest of them kind of go in here. So get on the floor. You're going to, got an echo. Echo, 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 echo. Small things entertain men, I can tell you that right now. I'm sure every guy that does this does the same thing. They're like, echo, 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 echo. Those 2 are in. Got a little light problem because I can't see. Light's in the way. So it's right there. So I do this top one. Oh, don't want to over tighten. I already told you the problems with over tightening these things. That's down. Just gotta do these side now. Now, that one's in. And then this one's in. Come on, come on. Ah! You hear it pop like that? It's never good. That means I've twisted it a little too far. But there you go. So that step's done. That brings us back to, so that this step is now done. Now we move into this one. We're gonna have to lay it on its side and we're gonna use these large cam bolts and barrel nuts. So I'll show you how that's done. So let's do that. So lay on its side. These are the large cam bolts they're talking about and these barrel nuts. So let's get those out of there. And it's good this step to make sure you have a screwdriver with you. Because what you're gonna end up doing is, you can see at the bottom here, there are 2 holes. That's where these barrel nuts are gonna go into. So you can drop the barrel nuts into those holes. Make sure before you drop it in, the plus side is up so you can adjust with the screwdriver. So you'll stick that in there, you pop it down, and then you will put your large cam and you screw that large cam into the barrel nut. So let me get, I'm gonna do the rest of these now that you know how to do it, and I'll get the rest of these done. I'll be right back. All right, so the next step with this, once you get these cams and they're locked into the barrel nuts, is you'll need to go to the base unit, which for me, I've already moved that base unit into here. And you're gonna put your 4 large wood dowels in. So these wood dowels, just slide them right into the hole. Again, like I said, you have to know which one the cam bolts are gonna go in. So I know those cam bolts go into the outer holes, so I put the wood dowels in the inner holes. Then what you're gonna do is lift that unit, the upper piece that I have out there, you're gonna bring it in. It's good to have 2 people. I've done it. I've done all these by myself, but I'm gonna have some of my wife come in here and help me put this one in. And you're gonna lower it down so those cam bolts go in there, because if you try to do it by yourself and you screw it up, you might bend them, break them, things like that. So you gotta be very delicate to put those and get them into those holes. And then once they're in there, you'll cam lock it. So I'll show you that. I'm gonna have her help me move it, and then I'll be right back. All right. With my wonderful helper, I was able to get those, we were able to get those stacked up together. And then once you stack them, essentially you come in under here and you'll go up underneath there, put 2 cam bolts in, 2 cam nuts in, I guess you call them, lockers, and it locks together. And essentially the tower is now done. The next step we're gonna go to is we're actually gonna go out here, because we have to build the next piece of this, which is essentially we're gonna build that drawer and put it together. So I'll set up and we'll get ready to do that. All right, so now we're back. We're gonna go ahead and then start building the shelving system. So the first thing you're gonna need is the, or not the shelving system, that was stupid. We are building the drawer. So first thing you need, this is the front, drawer front. This is where the handle will go in. So we'll set that on the floor. It says to get, you'll take 4 of the cam bolts again. You'll stick them in. There are 4 holes on the side. You can't screw this part up because it only screws into the smaller holes. The bigger hole, it won't, it'll just drop right in. So you know exactly where they're supposed to be. So you put those in there, take a drill. Again, just get them snugged up. Don't over tighten these things. You can drill these in at an angle. I have done that before. Let's try not to do that this time, Frank, because they do, it's not so bad. It does straighten out, but it's not a big deal. The next thing you're going to want to get are these side panels. So these will be the side panels, and one of these is the rear panel. I believe that's S over here. So we're going to take S. Now, what we're going to need for this one, let's cut out these small dowels. We're going to need a few of these, probably 4 of them. And you'll see there's some bigger holes on the side here. So let's put in 4 dowels in there. We'll do the first 2 right now. And then what you'll end up doing, again, you got this ridge here. So it'll fit in, fits in with this guy. This is R. And you put the dowels will match up with the holes there. And then what you're gonna do is these screws will go into, and it tells you in the directions which screws to use. You put that in the holes. So we'll drill those in really quick. I don't like to over tighten things right off the bat until I get it all fitted in right. So there, that's in. Woo. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So grab 2 more dowels, 2 more screws, stick that in. We'll stick it in that side, that side. This time, it's part Q. Part Q, you slide them over the dowels, stick in your screw, Screw that in. The bottom one. We're going to screw that guy in. Now. Alright, so that's in. What I like to do is turn it on its side. I get T. I love that it says bottom. I assume that means that's going to be the bottom, and this other side is the top. So the top would be into the drawer, the bottom would be facing away from the drawer. So that works out nice. And then what we're going to end up doing here is, I mean, we should be through now with step 14. We're moving into step 15, which was sliding that piece in. And now what we're gonna do is drop the front of it on the top of here. And we need to make sure this is where the last 4 of our small screws are gonna go. 1, 2, or wood dowels. And we're gonna slide those things in. I need to make sure that's the hole for the cam. So I'll put these in the spots where there's no cam, which looks like it's on the inside. So put those 4 on there. I'll grab my drawer front. And because I know the handle sits on the top part of the drawer, I'll have that towards me. And plus there's a groove right there that's got to fit this groove here. So we'll slide that in there. Put those together. Whoop, whoop. Boom! I see in the package there's only 4 cam locks in here, so those have got to be the ones that I use for this. I'll take those out. I'll stick them in here. Now these, because everybody sees the inside, they put the cam locks in the outside here. So we're going to put those in there. These don't countersink. They actually sit flush to give it a nice clean look to it. So that's something, don't think like everything's broken. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, and then I've done this every time. Every time I flip it around, I pick it up, not realizing there's no cam lock over here. Don't do that. That's only morons like me do that. And only morons like me do it over and over again, because I think I've built 3 of these. This is the 3rd one I've built. And I've done it all 3 times. Like I don't learn. So there. So now all those are in there. Booyakasha. That's finished off. We want to take now, you know, if you're not good with a knife, never cut towards you. Always cut away from you. So we are going to now put this piece on, the handle, which is real simple. Just unscrew. You're going to pop it through here. I always like to put my thing on there, my screwdriver in. I start tightening it down. I only do 1 at a time, and I don't over screw it in because I want to make sure I have room to get this one in there. And then I'll put that through the next hole. And I'll start screwing it down. Now this one I'll tighten all the way. Not over tightening it. Then I'll come back and finish off the last one. Perfect. Now the last thing you need to do will be the slides. Now I left those, and then you're wondering like, what are the slides? You know? So what we're gonna end up doing is we're into this step here. We wanna put those slides in. So those, if you remember, was all the way back in step 1 as we had those. And so right now I want to get the screws that we're gonna need, which are these teeny tiny little bitty screws that are real easy to lose. So let me go get those slides. Now remember in step 1, they had you remove these things off of there. Now, when you install these in, it's important to realize that this bumper sits up front. So you're going to put it in. You don't want to set it backwards because that's a stopper. You want it on the front side towards the drawer front. So, and you can already, if you can see, I don't know if you're able to see those, there are already some pre-drilled holes in there. That's what you're lining up with. So you're going to stick that on top of there. You're going to make sure those holes all line up. And then you take your 3 screws and you're going to start drilling them in. These are actually, because of how dang tiny they are, and my fingers don't really work well together with them. I'm losing my dexterity, I notice, as I get older. I've developed a little bit of the shakes, which if I don't eat, I tend to have that shaky problem, which my wife just went to go order food. So I can straighten back out again. But that's how you get the first one on. We'll flip her over. Same thing on the other side. You lay that out. Make sure that stopper's on the front end. Grab your screws. We're going to do the first one here. Like I said, I really do like this system. I don't know how many of these things they sell every year, but it ain't enough, because these things, this is a good, I think it's good. Not only I think it's good, I think it looks good. So this is the last piece. There we go. Now, I'm going to take it in, and all you do is put it in the drawer front. I'll be right back. So here we go, we're into the closet where the drawers are going to go in. I'm going to take it, and essentially you have these slides that we put in step 1. You're going to lock them, put them right in there so they go over that little curvy thing. They snap right in. Booyah! There it is. It's like a professional built that. Wouldn't you know it? And that is essentially the cabinet. The only few things left to do is I do have a shelf that goes on the bottom, a shelf that'll go on the top. I don't put those in until I hang them and know exactly what we're going to put on the shelves. And then the next thing is to hang it on the wall. I will do a whole video because you can see I got 3 of these. I got 1 more to build. I have 4 of these to hang and some shelves. So I'll do a whole nother video on that when I get to the hanging phase. So that's essentially this system in a nutshell. So these again, these are the shelves that go next to that unit. They don't hang on the wall. That you'll put, and these are the metal rods that will hang clothes on. So that goes next to it. That's one of the hanger pieces that goes behind the unit. So you can hang it up in there. And these are the 2 shelves. They do give you 1 shelf, as you can see here, that has just a metal bar in it. That's a shoe rack shelf. So you'll be able to put that in. So I'll have all those things assembled, and when I do my next video, I'll show you how to hang it. So again, if you guys are in for a closet system that kind of really looks a little bit ritzier than say those standard like Craftsmaids or stuff like that that are out there that I've used in some of the other cabinets, this is a unit I like. It's solid wood. It's not a particle board type material. Everything kind of goes together really well. It's nice and easy. It does take a little bit of time, as you saw. This whole video was a begin to end of how I built the whole thing just sitting down in one shot. So they can be done relatively fast. Very few tools that are needed. The hard part now, no, I shouldn't say the hard part. The hard part really is just, for me, is just figuring out exactly where I want to set them and then cutting to length the shelves that I need. So that'll be, again, a future video. Maybe tomorrow I'll shoot that one. But for now, this is Frank signing off. Again, why pay someone to do this when you can do it yourself? All right, see ya.